Is it like a tiny shipwreck area?
Yeah, it's like a 3 shipwreck area with like a barrier over a conch shell.
You just want me to do it? Why would you summon me to go to this specific place to do a
Cause
puzzle?
why not? What's wrong? Don't be scared.
Oh, okay. I assume I just... Oh! The fish tornado. Oh my god! That's so much fish!
Yeah.
The attention to details when I try to enter the tornado, they just move aside for me?
Yeah.
Oh my god. They're so kind. 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. Oh god, it's shooting up in the sky.
Yeah, they said go up there.
Oh, there's the Oculus.
Thank you, Mr. Linney. You ran to and remained hidden within the magic box in the audience stands once.
Yes, that's correct.
In that case,
Why, of course I do. Allow me to take the first shot and break this case wide open. Mr. Linney is clearly lying. There is no way you could have been in the box the whole time if you were to abduct Halsey and murder Cowell. In fact, I'd say you were hardly in that tunnel at all.
That is simply your hypothesis based on the presumption that I'm guilty.
Oh, is that so? And if I may ask, what did you hear while you were inside your box?
The roaring countdown of the crowd, of course. That's how I kept track of the time and built anticipation for the finale.
And you didn't hear anything else at all? Nothing that might leave an impression of any kind?
No, nothing.
I see. But when the count reached 30 seconds or so, there was a thud. One so loud that I believe practically everyone heard it.
Huh?
Hey, hang on. Something's not right here.
Hmm? How could Lenny not know the sound?
Yeah, I'm sure he could have heard a noise that loud from inside the box.
I was right by the box and I definitely heard the thud.
Look at those scales. Could those mean...
They probably represent the oratrice stance on the trial.
Well then, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to use the words of the magician himself. You never know what can happen in the blink of an eye. Indeed, it seems his alibi can also collapse in the blink of an eye.
Wow!
Of course, I have armed myself to do far more than smash your alibi.
Yeah.
Confidence cannot go unfounded,
You got some
and
sass in
my
her.
foundations are rock solid. Tell me, aren't you and Lynette actually from the House of the Hearth?
The House of the Hearth?
Oh, I knew that. The two orphans. Well, that's racist.
No wonder they did something like this.
That's racist. Not all
So
of them
the
are
serial
like that.
disappearances were the Fatui's doing. Now it all makes sense.
I've got a feeling that what happened on stage probably wasn't just an accident.
No.
That's irrelevant. Our identities have nothing to do with what happened.
Real. I believe you guys are fine.
Indeed. Then perhaps you could tell us everything that happened during that 1 minute.
But they did.
Your first priority is to prove yourself innocent after all. I'm sure there is little that needs to be kept secret now. Unless your script already has holes in it.
God, we gotta think of something strong.
The Outlander is speechless. My, oh my, don't they look flabbergasted? Now comes the infighting and discord, I suppose. This was almost too easy. Good thing I made all those preparations. Seems the all-nighter I pulled last night is really paying off.
No, we got something. I don't know what, but we got
Tell us
something.
this before.
It was irrelevant. It was really irrelevant.
Order! Order!
Who cares where they came from?
Mr. Linney, allow me to reestablish the facts.
It had
Lady
nothing to do
Farina
with the
has raised
case.
2 points. First, when the thud was heard in the Opera House, you were neither in the box nor the tunnel. Second, you and Ms. Lynette are both members of the House of the Hearth.
And
Are these claims true?
there's no doubt about a magician's ability to con others. Given how Lenny has concealed his identity, this could all have been a setup beforehand. Plus, Child is here in Fontaine, along with the other house operatives. There must be some scheme at work here. I've been a victim in such a scheme before, and now...
Please answer my question, Mr. Linney.
Damn.
I'm sorry. Yes, they're true, Your Honor.
Oh, I believe you're innocent. God, but what does...
I knew it.
What's this them being part of the
Well, that's
Fontaine
it. We might as well move on
erased?
to the sentencing already.
But I didn't even get to say anything. Permission to speak.
Granted.
For real. A client has withheld some key
In
information.
that case, what is your request?
I request a brief adjournment. There are things that must be discussed, please.
Is that really necessary?
Shut up.
They're already
Shut
as good
up.
as guilty.
I'm doing my job here.
The defendant deceived their own attorneys. What is there left to discuss?
I didn't even get to say
Order!
anything. Shut the fuck
Order,
up.
I say!
Please
Your
order
request
them.
is reasonable, and we shall adjourn.
Thank you.
This trial will reconvene in 1 hour.
Thank you so much.
So you would stick to Mr. Linney's defense even after knowing what you do now?
Shut
You
up.
certainly have more professionalism than I thought.
I will
In
show
that
the
case,
chief
my
real good.
dear audience, let's allow the joy of victory to steep for a little while longer.
Okay. We gotta talk. We gotta cook a little bit in the back. Cause they're not giving us a chance. If we don't have something good, it's over for us. We need one singular thing. We didn't even get to speak.
Well, this is awkward. I didn't think the Hydro Archon would dig all that up. I'm sorry, Traveler and Paimon.
Don't be sorry.
Yeah, sorry. Paimon doesn't know where to start. We trusted you two. We based our entire reasoning on the assumption that you weren't bad
They're
guys.
not bad guys.
Not to set the wrong tone or anything, but Paimon's really mad.
I'm very sorry. I know you're angry, and reasonably so, but please, let me explain.
And you better not talk over
I
him.
know you've clashed with the Vatui several times before. I wouldn't be surprised if just hearing the word is enough to make you upset. But our organization is very, very large, and the Harbingers have very different personalities and
That's
goals.
what I'm saying. Like,
Right now,
don't
we want to
assume.
save people. As many as we can.
Like, not all of them
That's
are
right.
like.
I'm sure we're on
so
the same page
evil.
when it comes to this nation and the disaster that its people might face. I knew if it weren't for our respective identities, we could become good friends.
Damn.
That's why I didn't wish to flat out lie to you, but chose to hide some details instead. The truth is very important, but being completely transparent about everything would see us spending more effort than we need to.
But how can we know? How can we know this is not another lie?
Right. So, you be the judge. Heck, if I were you, I fear that I'd even struggle to trust me at this point. You met a Fatus who works as a magician, a trickster by trade. all by coincidence, too. But still, I'm asking you to trust me. I am no criminal. At least, not in this case.
Sorry. Please forgive us. Well, you both say that, but...
Where did you actually go while the trick was being performed?
Right. Let's hear your answer first, and no lies now!
Of course. I'll answer any question you ask. We've been trying to find out how the Oratrice operates. We want to know why it has a consciousness. Why can it deliver sentences accurately? During our investigations, we learned that the machine's core is beneath it. From that moment on, Lynette and I have been designing this box swap trick with the objective of getting close to the core.
Is that why you needed a whole minute?
That's right. In truth, the audience would take about 75 seconds to count down from 60, while I would only need 15 to get to the opposite box. So, after jumping into the tunnel, I accessed the Opera House basement via the vent, and went to investigate the room in which the core is stored.
That air vent was created during the construction of the tunnel specifically to execute this step.
So they did do something extra. And what did you find?
Well, nothing. As soon as I reached that room and was about to investigate, I heard someone's voice. Which should have been impossible, of course. I was quite certain that I was the only one in the room. That voice seemed to recognize me and tried to speak to me. I chose to err on the side of caution and retreated the way I came. On the way back, I saw the broken vase and the clothes on the ground, but the countdown was almost finished, so there wasn't time to give it any thought. After that, the homicide occurred just as you saw.
Well, that explains why you didn't hear the thud.
That's true. But why do you want to understand how the Oratrice operates?
Because of that prophecy I told you about, of course. We must know all we can about this nation's secrets in order to deal with that prophesized crisis.
That's the only way we can save everyone.
So, there you have it. The whole truth. I swear, I didn't hide anything from you this time. It was never my wish to proceed under this cloud of mistrust either. But like I said earlier, you can be the judge. If you want to leave because you don't trust the Fatui, there's nothing I can do to stop you.
Well, Traveler, you decide. Paimon will follow your lead however you choose.
I believe in the facts.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks for giving us a chance.
The current problem is that the scales are tipped pretty badly against you two. If we want to refute the Hydro Archon's accusations, we're gonna need a seriously watertight defense.
We have the key evidence, apparently. Let's go back.
Oh, Paimon!
Yeah, let's just go back.
Both parties have returned to their positions. Let us continue the trial. When last we left off, Mr. Linney acknowledged the new evidence presented by Lady Farina as fact. Therefore, Lady Farina may continue stating her reconstruction of the events.
That took long enough. Now then, if everyone would lend me their attention. At this stage, let's revisit that scene from Linney's perspective.
Oh shit.
As the countdown began, he entered the tunnel. When the flatbed trolley passed, he opened the box and got into an altercation with Halsey, which caused the loud thud.
Bro, this is like the Danganronpa comic book shit in a different way. I kind of like it.
He did not realize that this sound could be heard by everyone in the opera house, which is why he claimed earlier that he could not hear the sound. Finally, he used the vase to knock her out, before making her change clothes to prevent others from recognizing her. At this time, Cowell arrived in the tunnel, having heard that strange noise, and caught Linney red-handed. So Linney proceeded to knock him out too before stuffing him into that box.
Oh god, that's an interesting perspective.
Linney passed the unconscious Halsey to his accomplice through the magic box in the audience stands, before operating the devices such that Cowell's death would be ruled an accident. And there you have it. That's the truth behind what happened.
Does the defendant's side have any objections to Lady Farina's description?
The key to refuting Lady Farina is the order of events. What Linney experienced and what he saw.
Well, obviously his statement for investigating the core contradicts this one.
According to Linny, he left via the vent after entering the tunnel. He couldn't have had that altercation with Halsey.
Oh yeah, here, this is where... Okay, so the order would be... He did went inside. This is the truth of what she said. Yes, he went under, but he went immediately through the vents and to check out the core, but then he heard someone else, so...
Linny went to the room that contains the Oratrice's core. This is the actual truth.
Well, yeah, I guess he also heard the mysterious voice, so then he went ahead and left the way he came from, but he didn't see anybody, just heard a voice that sounded familiar to him.
Linny did not take part in the underground altercation. He only witnessed traces of the aftermath.
Yes, this is the truth.
Attention! Ace Detective Paimon has something
Why can't
to
I
say.
say it?
When the countdown started, Linny did indeed go into the tunnel. But he immediately used a vent to access the Opera House basement, which is where the underground core of the Oratrice is stored. Once he reached that area, he heard a voice in what should have been an empty room. Since he felt something was amiss, he returned immediately. The crime scene had already developed by the time he reached the tunnel again, and in order to complete the magic trick, he did not remain there for any length of time. Finally, he reached the surface, and that was when the accident happened from his point of view. Therefore, he's innocent!
It's back in the middle, okay. Good.
Paimon did it!
I wish I got to say it.
Actually managed to say all that!
I wanted to say it.
Wasn't it awesome?
I put the
In other
pieces
words,
together.
You believe that he knew nothing of the incident?
Yes, period. Moreover, I believe my opposition reasoning is flawed.
My reasoning?
The onstage equipment was clearly tampered with in the premeditated fashion. However, you say that Cowell bumped into Litany by chance.
If that's the case, then if Cowell hadn't entered the tunnel, who was the entire setup meant to kill? Assuming that what you say is true, Linny only needed to kidnap the young girl to cause a new disappearance case. What would the point of killing someone on stage be?
Oh, they have a point.
That's right, you tell them! And that's why they're partners of mine. They've managed to turn things around.
Oh, well, your denial is very strident, I'll give you that. But what proof do you have to back your claims?
How you refuted Lenny's alibi initially.
Of course I do. If he had been in the magic box the whole time, how could he have not heard that sound? Why do you ask? You're saying that he wasn't?
Your claims have now become my weapon. Okay, all of these are irrelevant. It's between the three. Which is the evidence that Lenny wasn't in the tunnel when the crime. I'm gonna just select something. I don't know.
That's right! Linny wasn't in the box or in the tunnel. That's why he didn't hear anything strange during the performance. This means that when the crime happened, Linny had already entered the basement via the vent. The same clue you used to disprove his alibi has now become the best proof! Ha ha! How do you like that?
Well played.
To think you'd use such logic. Well then, if it wasn't Linny who committed the crimes, then who was it?
The murder was... Oh god. You see, my issue here is I would want to say there's a third person involved. But at the same time, it shouldn't be Halsey because it's just, I don't like how they chose this model. She just looks so much like the thief. So then it makes me suspicious. But they just made every single goddamn claim that she got nothing to do with the magician. So then there's no way she would know how the trick works, apparently. So I'll just choose the third option. Okay, that's fine. It's her
Halsey is the
then.
missing person.
No, it's her. Huh? How? But how would he... That's true? How come? What? Explain to me. No way.
Huh? That can't be right. Are you serious?
That's what I'm saying.
The killer was, in fact, Cowl, the deceased!
Oh, is that so? How interesting! Let's hear your reasoning then.
What I must do next is recreate the truth. What Cowl did, and how he went from would-be perpetrator to victim.
Oh, it's so hard.
It would have been tough for both.
I don't know. Okay, these two are wrong.
Lenny was not in the tunnel at that.
Okay, yeah, this made more sense. I just, my brain was going all over the place.
Halsey's clothing was in the tunnel. So there must have been some fear that she would attract attention.
I don't know. Okay, that's not right either.
No one entered or left the...
That made no sense with the question. I don't... Huh? How could you just tell me none of them was correct? You made me sit here and think for nothing to be the answer. I'm crying. The criminal must have understood the methods behind Lenny's magic trick and must have been in a position to easily modify the equipment. Leaving aside how he died, Kyle had all the means to commit the crime at his disposal. The strange noise could likely been the sound of Kyle and Hazley struggling. That's what I thought. It was probably the sound of a struggle. Lenny was not in the tunnel for 1 minute. This would have given time for Kyle to bring Hazley out of the magic box in the audience dance. But according to the guard's testimony, no one entered or left the opera house, so even if he hadn't taken her, there'd be no means of exiting. Exiting from the box would have been a full view of audience, pretty much guaranteed that they would be discovered.
What's wrong, Traveler? Are you still having trouble figuring things out?
Where in the world would Hazley go?
I see how it is. So this was all
I'm still
just
cooking.
bluff. And here I thought you had something to show for it. But it seems you're still far from the truth.
I'm still cooking.
Look, since we're at a dead end, why not consider a different track? Just like the trick as it transpired, the end result must have been utterly different from the magician's initial design.
If only we knew how Halsey disappeared.
Well, that would be nice, but the tunnel only has 3 exits, and none of them seem very likely. And it's not like this is a magic trick where you can just make a real live person disappear. You know, like you did from that water tank, Lynette.
Escaping from the water tank. How did you escape from the water tank? Wait, could it have been the water?
Excuse my interruption, dear opponents. But do you not see that the crowd is growing impatient? There is no greater sin in this opera house than an awkward delay in the performance.
Hush, we're cooking, we're cooking.
If the defense is unable to make further effective arguments, we will move on to the next stage of the
Wait,
trial.
we got one. Hold on a second.
Lenny was not in the tunnel at that moment, which gave our criminal ample time. The sound we heard may have come from a clash between the missing Halsey and the criminal. The deceased's name is Cowl, Lenny's assistant. He would have been able to tamper with the equipment.
I'm trying to see how it connects. I feel I'm making up random stories in my head of how it could have happened, but I'm not gonna sit here and think for like 20 minutes, so I'm gonna let the traveler cook for me.
Oh, Paimon gets it! It all comes together if Halsey disappeared instead of being kidnapped. Lynette escaped from the water tank, vanishing gradually and leaving only clothes behind.
So they use the same trick, but with the girl?
If there's a similar method where a person could be transformed into water...
Oh, just a moment, please.
Shut up, we're
I
cooking.
do hope you know how preposterous you sound at the moment.
We are cooking.
How could a person ever be transformed into water? This is reality we're talking about here, not some magic trick.
I request we examine Cowell's personal effects. We might find something there.
Must we really? I should think that of anyone. Your friend Linny already knows this truth very well. Magic tricks are ultimately just illusions and misdirection. But Halsey's disappearance is very real. We're talking about two completely different things.
Even so, I trust the Traveler's judgment. The truth must be out there somewhere. Perhaps some new line of reasoning may open if we try to gather all the focal points that don't make sense. Since Cal was the deceased, we haven't placed much attention on him. But given that we aren't making much progress with the case, it wouldn't hurt to have a look at his belongings, would it?
People really do come up with all sorts of harebrained schemes when at the end of their rope. The way I see it, your suggestion that we broaden the scope of our investigation is nothing but a tactic for stalling the trial.
It does not matter. Every evidence should be presented.
Nevertheless, I believe that this is a reasonable request on the part of an attorney. Since the trial does indeed appear to be at an impasse, I believe that additional evidence may help us make more progress. Guards,
Thank you.
Please step into the lounge and examine the personal effects of the deceased Cowell.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, sir. I respect you
We
so
are
much,
still
sir.
examining the items, but we have already made critical progress that we feel must be shared with everyone post-haste. We discovered several test tubes of fluid within Cowell's baggage, each labeled separately.
Did she turn into water? Is that actually her in the basement, but as water?
The notebook in his backpack claims that these fluids are water from the primordial sea.
The primordial sea?
The note's contents also indicate that Cowell belonged to an organization that sells illegal drugs and that he had an accomplice.
Oh, shit.
The notebook has many entries concerning safe usage of these fluids, in which the keyword dissolve appears many times. One of these tubes was labeled Opera Epiclese, along with yesterday's date. It is empty. The notes also state that these dissolution properties work exclusively on people from Fontaine. It's likely that Halsey was chosen as some sort of test subject. As such, we believe that the defense's hypothesis is, in fact, supported by sufficient evidence.
But the one thing that just doesn't make sense to me is why did he die then? If he did all of that, why did he die?
You've got to be kidding! People dissolving into water?
Could something so ridiculous actually be true?
Yes,
Wait a moment. This reminds me of a certain prophecy, but
yeah,
it's just a coincidence, isn't it?
Huh. If people can become water, does that mean that the water tank's real use was as a means to hide water stains? And if Cowell was targeting that girl... Wait just a minute. Could that mean... You two, with me, quick!
What are you thinking?
Demoiselle, wait! What about your partners?
Let's go. Just trust me.
Order! Order!
Oh, okay, okay.
It is undeniable that further examination of the deceased's personal effects has yielded some surprising results, but we cannot yet verify the veracity of these clues. Still, let us assume that these clues are indeed authentic. albeit with the understanding that Ms. Halsey has yet to be found.
She's in the
Guards,
basement.
please continue examining the items along these lines. Mr. Linney, it appears your hypothesis is supported by the evidence, so please continue speaking.
Of course. Thank you, Your Honor. If we uphold this hypothesis, I believe that many of this case's seemingly unrelated clues can be connected together.
Right! Like the metal hook! That one didn't make sense at all. Let's think about this. Cowell's methods must have something to do with that water from the primordial sea.
Who's the prime suspect currently?
The
Obviously
deceased's
him.
name is Cowell.
Wait, let me answer the other question first. Okay, obviously this item.
The rope that strung the water tank up was lit by the fireworks and cut. As such, the focus here is on the water and not the tank.
This one,
I remember there was something else within the inner layer of that box.
Oh, that's right. Okay, yeah.
In the original plan, Cowell would tamper with the water tank rope and the number selector securing his target. When the magic box containing Halsey was lowered, the metal hook would retract gradually and pierce the balloon at the top of the box. When the balloon attached to the box popped, the water from the primordial seed inside it would pour down and dissolve Halsey. Afterward, Cowell would enter the tunnel and break the flower vase to conceal the water inside the tunnel, with the remaining evidence being covered up by the water tank on stage. But he encountered something unexpected in the tunnel, and wound up being fatally hit by the same water tank he meant to use to cover his tracks.
Huh. That does make sense.
That actually links together a lot of the more confusing pieces of evidence.
I needed more visual.
Oh dear.
Visuals.
What do I do? Even I think they sound convincing now. Have I falsely accused an innocent person? What
Happens.
a humiliation.
That's the whole point.
Now,
Just to fight to
it
see.
seems like the only point of
True.
contention remaining is
No
the
problem.
exact circumstances that led to Cal's death.
Mhm.
His notes mentioned he had an accomplice who could be related to the situation.
On that note, the guards have just contacted me indicating that they uncovered new evidence. I shall now invite him on stage to share it with us.
Thank you, Your Honor. We were just inspecting the luggage of the other people involved in this case, and we found an identical sample of the water from the primordial sea among Linny's personal effects.
What?
What do you mean?
That can't be.
Oh, I see. Well, how wonderfully comedic to have your own counterattack only to come back and wound you. Does this not clear all doubt? My dear citizens, my loyal audience, allow me to present my reasoning and bring this performance to a swift close.
Okay, let's fight. You go
Linny
first.
did not need to take part in the dissolution of the young woman at all. Indeed, he did leave the scene via the vent. Having made modifications to the props beforehand, his accomplice Cowell then caused Halsey to vanish using the water from the primordial sea. But upon his return, in cruel avarice, Linny desired sole credit and prepared to do away with his partner in crime. Ultimately, he knocked Cowell out, and the tool meant to cover the crime up also became a murder weapon. Now, as much as I regret having come to such a viciously straightforward conclusion, it does seem that the famed Fatui is quite the cold-blooded and ruthless organization. Am I right, Mr. Linney?
This story seems all over the place, Mama. Let me fix this up for you.
We've used up all the evidence we collected. There's no way for us to make a rebuttal here.
Well, fuck.
Is this the end of the road?
No. I didn't even get a choice.
Oh no. Paimon can't think of anything either. It doesn't look like there's any way around this.
The girl's gonna save us.
Seems using the water as new evidence was too good a move. Oh, why did this have to happen now?
I think we've all seen enough now. And we have ample witnesses to my flawless reasoning. I believe this is indeed the finale.
Give me a second. Oh god.
Now then, my good, noble Chief Justice, should we not, in your view, move...
Excuse me, everyone, but I must interject.
Miss, I must ask you not to shout, and to respect the ongoing legal proceedings.
Oh, come on. Don't be hasty. I have a good reason for interrupting, you know. Now, would anyone here like to take a little break from all this debate and see a little magic? I'll show you an amazing trick. One that can bring a young woman who has disappeared back in the flesh, right before your very eyes. Please, do the honors, Mr. Linney, if you would be so kind.
What in the world is she saying?
No offense, miss, but miracles like that are beyond my scope as a magician.
Come on now, don't be silly. Magic is all about misdirection, isn't it? It often conceals the truth while presenting a fascinating illusion. But once everyone believes the illusion, can't magic reveal the truth to them once again? And wouldn't such a trick be the most marvelous finale to today's performance? Come on, Linny and Lynette. Give it another go. Don't worry. Spina di Rasula has made the necessary arrangements on your behalf. But as the magic makers and stars of the show, I think I should leave the final performance to you.
I understand.
I'm sorry?
And voila.
Sorry for
I'm
the
sorry?
interruption.
Wait, isn't that Halsey? So the whole thing about people dissolving wasn't true after all?
I'm so
To
lost.
be clear, I'm only here because this person told me that if I testified, the merit of doing so would lessen my sentence. I was hiding outside this room listening to the proceedings because I was afraid that I would be the one put on trial. I was just feeling happy that no one had noticed me, and then before I knew it, she caught me.
That'll teach you to underestimate us three.
Where should I begin? I'm sorry. I'm the one who killed Cowl. I admit it.
What did I told y'all? I'm sure I said that in the beginning, that I felt like it was her that did that. But like cause I was just listening to this stupid game and they kept saying that she has no connections to the magic trick. But I'm like, but that's the only thing that seemed logical. Because it's just the other stories you're saying just seem so bizarre. And that was so illogical when it... Oh, I can't. Just move on.
What? Why?
Firstly, my name isn't Halsey. It's Lillian, and I'm originally from Mondstadt.
Yeah, you look like a
I heard that Linny's
Mondstadter.
show was gonna be a real thriller, but I missed the chance to buy a ticket, so I stole one.
I knew you were that girl.
That's how I make a living. I steal stuff here and there.
I told you.
And I'd never been caught before.
I told you guys.
But I was noticed at the harbor a few days ago, and I barely got away. Linny was the one who caught me in the act.
I told you guys. I was right from the beginning this whole time.
Familiar.
I was just doubting
You were the
myself.
thief. Liddy even mentioned that you were pretty skilled.
Well, and I thought that would have been the end of it, but then the number selector chose me. He even mentioned the Fortress of Meripede. That's a prison, isn't it? So you can imagine how shocked I was. I thought he was onto me for sure. So I played along with the show while looking for an opening to flee, but then I got water poured on me for no reason, and then someone jumped into the tunnel to nab me. I wasn't going to take that lying down, so I knocked him out and stuffed him into the box. There was nowhere to run from there, though, so I had to change my clothes and hide in a box containing performance costumes. I slipped out after the first guard arrived at the scene and continued hiding inside the opera house. But I swear I didn't know that the water tank would fall down. Really, I swear it. Had I known that, I wouldn't have put him in the magic box. I may be a thief, but I'm no killer.
Okay, so there's more mystery about the how the thing fell.
This time, we need to tell the entire story from Lillian's perspective. The strange sound wasn't from a fight. It was Lillian's attempt to break out when she was frightened.
Oh, she got out of the box because she thought they were onto her, probably.
Lillian was afraid that she would be recognized if she left, so she changed clothes and hid, biding her time. Just what one might expect of an experienced thief.
And it's Ace! Having been selected out of the blue, Lillian panicked. Her panic only intensified after she entered the tunnel and had water poured on her head. So she kicked the door open, producing the thud we all heard. Hearing the commotion, Cowell leapt into the tunnel, only to discover that Lillian had not dissolved.
Oh! Wait a minute. She didn't get dissolved because she's from Mondstadt. She's not from Fontaine. So he initially wanted to quote unquote kidnap her or whatever. Or just weirdly murder her with the water residue that he had. But it backfired on him because she was actually not a Fontaine citizen. So it wouldn't work on her. And that's why she still was alive. Oh my god, this is so much more clearer.
He did not know that Lillian was not from Fontaine, but was a thief who made her way in by stealing a ticket. Mistakenly believing that the water from the primordial sea needed time to take effect, he tried to force Lillian back into the box. The two broke the flower vase during the struggle, but Lillian came out on top, knocking Cowell out and putting him in the box. With no way of escaping, she changed her clothes and hid in the costume trunk until the performance ended.
Well then, I guess for the water tank to drop down, I think the whole point of it was that to cover up her liquid if she did turn into liquid. But I don't know. We'll see. But that makes so much sense. Oh my god. It's all becoming clear now. This is so interesting.
She knew that she would have to go through guard inspection if she tried to leave afterward. So, she has been trapped in the opera house these last 2 days.
Aren't you hungry?
She had already become desperately hungry by the time we were chatting over macarons.
Yeah.
So, she swiped 2 of them right under our noses. Talk about a sneaky thief.
Yeah.
At this point, all the events that happened in the tunnel have now come to light.
Ah, so that's the whole story.
Bravo! Bravo!
Now then, Lady Farina, do you wish to speak against the defense's statements?
It's too hard. You lost. Sorry, you lost. There's no way.
Please answer the question, Lady Farina. Also, if I may add, the trial has not yet ended. As such, I request that the prosecution not leave the room before the proceedings have concluded.
What? Are you reading my mind now? No, I have no further arguments. I admit defeat. But really, could you at least have left me with some dignity?
Wow, look at that! She's like a deflated balloon now.
She got sat on hard.
If there are no objections, then as the Chief Justice of Fontaine, I shall once again repeat the full sequence of events.
Yeah, go ahead. Wrap it up.
The actual perpetrator of the serial disappearances, Cowell, selected his next victim from the audience reservation list. With some modifications to the selector, he could ensure that the pre-selected young woman would be chosen. To cover up any evidence while committing the deed, Cowell thought of allowing the water tank to fall, which would conceal the water left behind after the young woman was dissolved.
Yeah, that's why. Yeah,
He also tampered with the rope suspending the water tank, using the fireworks at the end of the performance to cause the tank to drop and hide the watermarks. He poured the water from the primordial sea into a balloon during the preparation of the magic box and stuck it to the box's lid. Finally, he passed the prepared hook on a rope through the gap in the magic box's door when bringing the young woman to said box. When the magic trick officially began, the box containing the woman was lowered into the tunnel, tightening the hook rope and bursting the balloon containing the water. If all had gone to plan, the young woman would be dissolved at this time. However, Lillian was not from Fontaine, and thus fled the box with a loud noise.
Yeah.
Realizing that there was trouble, Cowell entered the tunnel and met Lillian. Thinking that the waters had not yet taken effect, he decided to proceed. However, his opponent was more capable than he thought, and he was overcome, knocked unconscious, and placed into the magic box.
But she was just
and thus
defending herself.
became his own final victim. Lillian, according to her own statements, then changed clothes and hid until the performance ended, before hiding in other parts of the opera house. As for Linny, he was in the underground structures within the opera house, and was thus ignorant of these happenings. From this reconstruction of events, we can conclude that Linny, the accused, is in fact innocent.
Period.
While there is much in Linny and Lillian's conduct that should still be investigated separately, this case, at least, can be handed over to the Oratrice to make the final decision.
I mean, come on, we obviously won.
As such, Linny and Lynette are officially declared not guilty.
Great work, partners.
Hell yeah.
Thank you all. Thank you so much.
We would have lost if it wasn't for you, man.
Next, I think we deserve an explanation, Guard Vaughn. How did you find the water from the primordial sea in Linny's baggage?
Right! Your discovery caused me to make a serious mistake, you know. Or was that not a discovery, but false evidence that you dared to bring before this court?
I suspect that the accomplice mentioned in Cowell's notes was not Linny, but you, yes? I'm sure you know what you must do to lessen your sentence.
Speak quickly! Unless you want to earn yourself a one-way ticket to Coupon Town.
I was just following orders. We were supposed to place blame for the serial disappearances onto Linny, and thus cause suspicion to fall on the Fatui. The higher-ups said this was the best opportunity to do so.
And now that your plan has fallen through, and the secrets of the water have been revealed, you have become a liability to said higher-ups, yes? Therefore, you would be wise to tell everything you know, and seek the protection of the guards.
Yes, I'll tell you everything I know. Our boss discovered that the water can cause people to dissolve. It can also be made into a potion, which when extremely diluted, can cause people to experience unforgettable exhilaration. We've been in this business for a while now, and have made decent more off it. The disappearances were also the boss's idea. I mean, this is the boss we're talking about.
Oh! Oh my god, cause he spoke too much. Oh my god. Oh. Oh.
And now he can no longer talk.
Oh shit.
Such ruthlessness. I shouldn't have expected any less of them.
An outrageous act. All present, please submit to inspection immediately.
This case is crazy. Holy shit. That got me.
Traveler, Paimon, please wait. I know you may not want to speak to me right now. Maybe you don't even want to look at me. But still, let me thank you again for defending me to the end. Even after you learned that I'm a member of the Fatui.
I just didn't wish for anyone to be falsely accused.
I guess. But regardless, I'd like the opportunity to set things straight. I didn't approach you with any ulterior motives or ill intent. I've spoken to you as myself, just plain Linny this entire time. As for why I'm a Fatus, it's because the goals of the House of the Hearth align with those of an orphan like me. That's all. That was how Father, who you might know as the Knave, approached recruiting us back then too.
The Knave? The one who controls the House of the Hearth? She's your father?
Okay.
That's right. And since we're here, I was wondering, would you mind hearing a story?
I love that.
It's about my past. Back
Go
when our
ahead.
parents first died, Lynette and I were left wandering the streets. To survive, I took to surreptitiously observing an older street performer who did magic. It took me several days to figure out how he pulled off his amazing tricks. I took my sister through several streets until we found a crowded corner, and we began to perform magic tricks there. To my surprise, we proved to be pretty popular, and we could at least stop worrying about where our next meal would come from for a time. But I didn't want my sister to remain a street rat together with me forever. Before long, an aristocrat came to me and claimed that he wished to take us in after watching my performances.
So you went from orphans to nobility just like that?
That was how we felt at first, too. As if fate was on our side and we could say goodbye to those painful days. But I gradually discovered that while we were called foster children, he was really after my talent for magic tricks. He would constantly take me to all sorts of banquets to garner attention, which he would then use to expand his social circles.
That doesn't seem too bad either. Better than roaming the streets at any rate.
It took a while for me to realize just how dark his heart really was. After one particular performance at a banquet, I discovered that Lynette was not on the same return vehicle as me. I waited a long time after we returned home, but she did not come back. I went to that noble's bedroom and asked him about her whereabouts. The answer he gave me was, she caught the eye of the most eminent person at the banquet, so I sent her over as a gift. I mean, you'll be able to perform your magic regardless of who your assistant is, yes?
Oh
Damn.
no. So he was gonna... But wouldn't Fontaine's laws deal with such people?
As
People are
far as
sneaky.
outsiders are concerned, this is a relationship akin to adoption or foster care, and they have their ways of escaping the eye of the law.
Villains.
I managed to ferret out the location of the mansion of that so-called eminent person and hurried through the night. But by the time I leaped over the walls, avoided the guards, and made my way in, all I saw was the moonlit ground covered in blood, and the knave standing there in the darkness.
So, she'd already taken care of that guy.
That's right. She had rescued my sister before she could come to any harm, and had even discovered several girls hidden in a basement, all of them orphans.
Aww.
Father, I mean, the knave, might have seen something in me, and so she made me an offer.
I'm sorry, this makes me so curious about the gender. Cause she's father, that's so cute.
The House of the Hearth welcomes you, for your interests align with ours. Here, none will ever betray you. Indeed, betrayal shall never be permitted here. I was hesitant to trust her. I mean, I had just been betrayed by nobles. But she was also quick to destroy the noble who had taken us in at first, giving us back our freedom.
Oh, so that's how the two of you joined the House of the Hearth.
The knave is after the Gnosis, isn't she?
She has her own plans. She has gained permission from the Tsaritsa to first use the Gnosis' power once she obtains it. She plans to use it to find a way to break the prophecy and save Fontaine.
So, she believes in that prophecy too?
That's right. The whole House of the Hearth is currently working to combat that crisis. Today's case has also proven that people from Fontaine can indeed dissolve into some sort of water, thus further supporting the prophecy. All of us house members here, Lady Arlecchino herself included, are from Fontaine. We won't give up on defending our homeland. To us orphans, the only connection we have left to this world, apart from our family, is our homeland.
So, from small deeds like distributing magic pockets to huge schemes like stealing a Gnosis, everything is aimed at dealing with that prophecy.
Sorry, man.
It's all right. I understand. The only thing I can do is relate all this to you. I just hope you can understand that even as a member of the House, I have never stopped making my own decisions, and that I believe what I'm doing is right. If you should need anything at all in the future, feel free to find me. I will do my best to help you, as plain Linny.
I understand. The story's getting crazy.
Bye, Linny!
Oh boy. Holy.
Hey there! What was with the disappearing act you pulled right as the trial ended?
Were you looking for us, Navia?
Well, this whole thing isn't exactly over, is it? I do feel that we're getting closer to solving the serial disappearances case, though. Don't you think so, too?
Well,
What's wrong, my dear partner?
I don't know. I think I'm going through something. I was only trying to defend Linny.
Besides, are you sure we're the ones who can crack a case that's been cold for decades now? And given that there's new evidence from the trial, there should be a trail of breadcrumbs for the Hydro Archon's people to follow now, right?
Ah.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I would help, but
see.
they're not letting me.
Well, I won't lie. I'm a little shocked to hear that from you. But I suppose you are just travelers who have only arrived in Fontaine after all. Sorry. I might have been too presumptuous. Wait, shall we have a farewell meal? You know, to commemorate our time as partners?
You don't have to twist.
Oh, wonder.
All right, then.
So instead of having a big tree-like thing, we have a fountain. Right here?
That's all well and good, but I just want our child born safe and sound.
Y'all still praying on that? You're gonna be here for like so many years without a child. Yeah, I don't have much right now.
I came here several times with my father when I was little, but stopped eating here as often after growing up. I hope the food here will be to your taste.
Oh, don't worry. We haven't eaten at a hotel like this in a while. Paimon's getting excited already.
Ah, in that case, I'll go order for us first. Please wait here a moment.
Speaking of cases, do you think that the mastermind behind the serial disappearances will get caught soon now that this has all happened?
Well, we've certainly taken a big step forward, but I feel that's about it. We know that there's an organization that means to dissolve these young women, but we still don't know what they are really after.
If it hadn't happened right in front of us, Paimon wouldn't have ever believed that a person could be dissolved like that.
Right? Yet it was because this was such a preposterous notion that the investigation could never really move forward before. To be honest, I don't have high hopes for any follow-up that the authorities might conduct. It's not that I don't have faith in their ability, it's just that a different perspective is required in some matters. It's easy to guard against and deceive a single narrow perspective. A shift in thinking is required at such times in order to produce a breakthrough. Which is exactly why the Spina di Rosula exist. Those highfalutin folk are not all-knowing. That's why we exist. To seep into the cracks where filth falls through, where their watch fails them. That's the kind of problems we solve.
Seems Paimon thought things were simpler than they actually are.
It's all right. Well, this was supposed to be a farewell meal, so I doubt you have further interest in this business, right? Huh? Paimon, did you drink my Fanta?
Was this your drink? Sorry about that. Paimon wasn't really paying attention and the cup was right next to Paimon. Would you like to order another?
no, it's fine. We're just about done here.
Alright. Honestly, Paimon wouldn't recommend Fonta anyway. It tastes kind of salty and icky.
I'd have to agree.
Is that so? Huh. Well, in that case, we'll have to blacklist the Fonta here then.
Oh, so full. Paimon can barely float anymore.
You could try walking.
Nah, that would be so normal.
I want to see it.
Like you.
Okay. As for expenses this month, we're left with... Huh.
Hey, Navia! What are you doing over there?
Oh, nothing. It was just a meal, you know? Nothing the Spina di Rosula can't cover. So this is goodbye, huh? Well, if you do encounter any other trouble in Fontaine, you're always welcome to contact the Spina di Rosula. In any case, I wish you smooth sailing. I'll see you again, partner.
See
ya! Bye.
Wow, is this France? Je suis traveler. Enchanté.
Je suis. Enchanté. Croissant. Oui, oui. S'il vous plaît. S'il vous plaît.
Où est-ce que l'archon?
Oh yeah, look at this. It's a robot.
Ooh. I will fuck the robot.
Ungrilled cheese.
Microwave cheese sandwich.
Microwave cheese. I put some. You know what? I at least I put some extra ingredients in there, so it's not just like a craft single. A side microwave cheese sandwich. I put some jalapeno slices and tomatoes. Besides the fact that this is microwaved, that kind of hit. Maybe because I'm just really hungry right now. Probably because I'm really hungry. I was starving.
Sleep deprived.
Oh my god.
Okay.
Oh.
It ain't that good.
Because I'm starving. I got Fontaine to explore.
Oh my god.
I don't have time to cook.
Really high on that.
Fontaine will always be there.
No.
Oh, okay. I tried.
Holy shit!
What? Oh my god.
Henry, my man. Why are we just talking to this man? Help him! He's stuck in there. This is brand new beauty fad. Oh my god. Worry not. I am a perfectly sane person. I am adopting a beauty practice that is scientific and healthy.
I am adopted.
Adopting. Which is why I buried myself in the moist sand with my own hands. He did it for a beauty standard. He put himself in there to look prettier. Please
Fucking
leave.
Kamehameha.
Do not block my sunlight. Are you just getting a face tan in the fucking sand?
How do you get out? How do you get yourself in there?
I got you. Watch this.
When the drums come on and you start swimming, you dive.
Holy shit, you're right! It feels so good! Oh my god!
There aren't many people around anymore. Looks like that boat we took to Araneas might have been the last one.
Vache.
Huh? Traveler? Are you hearing voices again? Ugh. That's kinda spooky. Are you sure we don't want to come back in the morning? Hey, why are you still walking towards it? There might be something nasty in the water. Huh? Hang on. Paimon can kinda hear a voice. It's calling for Vache, right? Hey, Traveler?
The fuck?
Stop walking! Come on, wake up!
Coco Toco?
Vache, are you my dear Vache? No, wait. You seem to be someone else. Do you know Vache? Do you know where my love is? Wait. Who am I? I'm very sorry. I fear I do not know. My memories feel like they have been washed away like a flood. So many fragments dissolved amidst the tide, never to be recovered. How much have I lost? How many things that I once held dear while on land have I since forgotten?
You were once human?
Yes, that is what I was once. But now, I am but the consciousness of one who is lost, therefore.
Oceanus used to be human?
I do not know how I came to be like this either. I only vaguely remember being covered in light blue water, and then all grew dim.
She could be one of the girls who were dissolved.
I also remember going to many places. I loved adventure, loved exploring places of peril. No matter where I
Are
went,
all Oceanus
Vacher would go
dissolved
with
girls?
me. I knew how dearly he loved me. And I also loved him equally as much. But now, we can no longer go back. The pain of such parting. I never knew how heavy it could be.
You need me to find him?
No. Our reunion no longer has any meaning. There is no way for us to create any new memories. The thought of me gives him no succor. So let it lie forgotten beneath the waters. If you meet Vacher, tell him not to look for me. Tell him to move on. That is the only thing I still remember.
It'd be hard for him to forget you.
Perhaps that is so. As I was submerged in the waters, losing consciousness, I saw Vacher above the surface. His eyes were filled with such sorrow, such longing. If only I could have comforted him, told him that I did not suffer. Indeed, I had felt a great warmth.
Holy shit, we might have a witness.
Is that what you call it? Dissolving? If anything, I consider it a form of release. It was a state of neither fear nor frenzy, with only an endless peace, like the water's still surface. I think I hear your companion. It's time for you to go. Farewell, then. I am glad that you were able to sense my presence. Remember, if you see Vacher, tell him not to seek me out any longer.
I'm sorry?
Navia's outnumbered!
I was knocked out for a second.
Demoiselle, look out!
She a claymore?
Dear God, it's a whole army of Gardamex.
Oh God.
Chlorand? Quick, now's our chance!
Okay. Period.
I should thank you for lending us your sword there, Chlorand. But before I do so, Could you explain how you managed to show up here?
I followed you. It seemed to me that danger has followed you more closely as of late.
I believe that following someone without their knowledge is actually called stalking, is it not?
Mr. Callus's last wish was for me to ensure your safety, and I will not betray his trust. He would do the same, were he alive today.
Do not speak of my father!
Sorry, demoiselle. I was not strong enough.
Thank you for your aid, Miss Clorand, but do keep an eye out for your manner of speech. I believe we all wish to avoid unnecessary emotional harm.
Sorry, I did not consider your feelings.
Whatever. What else do you know? How did you come to the conclusion that I'd be in grave danger?
I doubt I know much more than you, but I believe that the mastermind behind the serial disappearances is very powerful. Your performance tonight will almost certainly attract their attention.
I'm sure they've known about me. To be honest, I'm shocked it's taken them this long to act against me. And what about these Gardamex? I thought only those associated with the Maison Gardiennage could control them.
None of these mecha have serial numbers. I was sure to check a moment ago. They are not the ones used by the authorities to enforce the law. I can only conclude that some powerful or wealthy party must have obtained them via illegal means, deploying them as a private force of sorts.
What? Your point being that they're out of Spina di Rosula's league, then?
Yes. Be careful, and do not act rashly.
I will continue investigating no matter what. We will bring the truth to light. That's my father's true last wish. Regardless, thank you for your help today, Clorand. But if you get any ideas, tell me first. I don't much appreciate being followed.
I do not think that they'll strike again anytime soon. So I shall stop following you. Good day, all.
Right. I suppose that's the best news we've gotten today.
Demoiselle, I believe that Miss Clorand was being sincere with you. If we tried, we could attempt to thaw relations a little.
I know, she's...
Actually, Navia, how did you know that we were in danger? You sure did show up in the nick of time.
Well, to be honest, you're the one who tipped us off, Paimon.
Huh? Really? Paimon contributed somehow? Ooh, Paimon's even more amazing than she thought!
Yes, all thanks to you grabbing my drink by mistake.
How did that help?
After we parted ways, I was on the way back to one of our bases when I suddenly thought of what you said. That the Fanta tasted kind of salty and icky. Fanta only comes in sweet flavors, so how could it have tasted salty? The color of the drink, if I recall, had also been a bit off.
So the Fanta had been spiked with water from the primordial sea?
Oh god. And you drank that shit?
So, if you hadn't drunk that cup for me...
She would have McDied.
Spina di Rosula is preparing the grandest of awards for you as we speak for saving the boss.
Oh my god. Thank god you're a foodie. Fortunately, Paimon, neither of us are from Fontaine, otherwise we would have been...
I sent people to Hotel de Boer to investigate, but whoever did this left no trace at all. That's when I figured out that you might be in danger, and hurried here as quickly as I could.
But why would they go after us too? All we did was defend Linny in court and help clear his name. Ugh, now we're caught up in this mess too, aren't we?
Speaking of which, did anything strange happen when you drank the primordial seawater?
Well, it can't be a coincidence that the traveler fainted just now. She said that she heard that voice calling for Vache again. Oh, and this time Paimon heard it too, but it was real faint. Does this situation have to do with the primordial seawater then?
According to Lynette, the ability to hear voices has something to do with one sensitive to the hydro element.
Does that mean the primordial seawater raises someone's sensitivity to hydro when it's used on people who are not from Fontaine?
That doesn't sound like too much of a bad thing, to be honest.
Also gave me intel.
New intel? While you were out cold?
Well, let's hear it, shall we?
The voice in the fountain belongs to one of the missing women. A person named Bashir was one of the witnesses when she dissolved.
Oh, Vache. That name doesn't ring a bell. I suppose he hasn't stepped forward as a witness in court lately. Since he saw that young woman dissolve, he was at least at the crime scene. But he never gave testimony or any information regarding people dissolving in the primordial seawater. Could he have been threatened?
If he's still alive, we should search for him, yeah.
Yes, thank you. This is very important information indeed. We will continue to investigate.
Alright, partner.
Oh, you mean you'll help us investigate?
Why not?
Well, you did say that our farewell meal didn't really count. That means we're still partners, right? And besides, we're in this now whether we like it or not. You're not gonna let those people who targeted us get off the hook so easily, are you, Traveler?
They mess with me, they're gonna get it.
Demoiselle, do try not to look quite so pleased. You are the face of Spina di Rosula, after all.
You talk too much. Well, in that case, let's head back to one of our bases, shall we? I'll arrange accommodations for you.
Do it. Oh, bye, Coconut. No, kill her!
A lapse in judgment.
Broke her ankle on that metal pipe.
So, this is your base? It's not quite what Paimon imagined.
Your accommodations have been arranged. Under the present circumstances, I can confidently say it's the best we have.
Well, our funds have been a little tight lately. After all, we don't allow illegal or unethical profiteering. In fact, our funds often come from citizenry who support us.
Seems like it's tough times for everyone. But if you have the support of the people, that does sound like it's worth it.
To be honest, our financial situation was a lot better back when my father was in charge a few years ago. I'm afraid I'm not quite his equal.
Your father... He was the previous boss of Spina di Rosula, right? How did he...
My father's name is Callus. Yes, the same one they call Callus the Unfaithful in the streets. 3 years ago, he was accused of murdering his own friend. But he chose a duel to defend his honor instead of standing trial. He died in the duelist's ring.
Oh no.
But I do not believe my father was a murderer. I'm sure he was set up. At the time, I believed that if he only stood trial and was duly investigated, something amiss would crop up and prove his innocence. But strangely, he not only requested the duel himself, but rumor has it that even after being seriously injured, to the point where he could be deemed as having lost the duel, he refused to surrender, determined to die in the arena. 3 years later, I still don't understand why he did that. How could he protect his honor if he's dead? If anything, he gave up his chance to defend himself.
Kinda odd.
The closest piece of info I have is that my father had been investigating the serial disappearances case at the time of his death.
Ah, so that's why you're so determined to get to the bottom of that case.
That's right. I've also tried to investigate the murder my father was implicated in, but I haven't found a single new clue in my countless reviews of the investigation records. However, I believe that if the murder case is related to those behind the disappearances, they must know something. I must know what really happened. Was my father coerced? Framed? Even if he really did kill his friend, I must get to the truth. If only he'd been more open with me when he was still alive. He even hid the fact that my mother died due to complications when giving birth to me. And now, here I am investigating his death. You really are a handful, aren't you, Papa?
Demoiselle, please, if there is anything I can do, anything at all.
I also will never believe that Master Callus murdered anyone. There are none whom I respect. Master Callus did so much good in life, yet all it took was one murder case for him to be dubbed Callus the Unfaithful. Even our supporters decreased greatly due to that incident, hence our strained finances at present.
Wait, if Callus was such a good man, wouldn't people at least be a little suspicious when he was accused?
No. Perhaps people just revel in that kind of drama. It's not something exclusive to people from Fontaine, really. Everyone's like that. People love watching the evil turn over a new leaf, but they also enjoy watching good people fall into an abyss from one slip-up just as much.
But how could... never mind. If Callus was really falsely accused, we have to find the truth. He didn't deserve to have that happen to him.
There is one other thing. Master Callus's opponent in the duel was Ms. Clorand.
Oh, her? Well, then, isn't that as good as saying that she was the one who killed him?
No wonder the mood was a bit strange.
Yeah, that's not the sort of thing that you can just let go and move on from.
Ms. Clorand has always placed great emphasis on the honorable nature of the duel. If her opponent doesn't yield, she will not stop either. She knew Master Callus beforehand and greatly respected him, but seeing how he was resolute in the arena, there was only ever one choice she could have made.
It's not that I don't understand her at all, but I just can't deal with this yet. Oh, Papa. What madness drove you to ask the person who killed you to take care of me? All right, anyway, that's the information I wanted to share with you. Even if it did sound like I was... thanks. You two should go and rest. This was quite a day after all.
Yeah, Harmon's feet. Huh? Navia? Where did...
I sent them back to Poisson. It's Spina de Rosula's place of origin, and where we have our headquarters. There's not much for them to do here at the moment.
Paimon gets the feeling that you're just trying to get them off your back. But never mind that. When did you get back? Were you waiting here the whole time?
No, I just returned after going out for a while. I did some investigating yesterday regarding the name Vache.
Wait, so you didn't sleep at all?
How could I after having such critical new evidence appear?
Guess Paimon wasn't speaking for everyone just now.
Unfortunately, this name seems to have been wiped from existence. It doesn't seem to have a match anywhere. I suspect that those behind this have already taken steps to hinder an investigation from this angle. But that does prove that this Vache person is a key witness in the incident.
Does that mean we're too late, though?
No. There is one ray of hope. One place in Fontaine that they would find almost impossible to threaten, no matter how much they wanted to. And that is the archives kept by Chief Justice Neuvillette, a place where detailed files on all the cases in recent years are kept. If the Oceanette you met is one of the young women who went missing recently, we should be able to find some related information there.
So Neuvillette maintains an archive of case files? Whew, guess that's the hard-working Chief Justice for you. In that case, let's go talk to him, shall we? Aren't you coming along, Navia?
No, it's nothing.
Please come in.
Sorry to barge in, Monsieur Neuvillette. We only lied to get in because we didn't know any other way.
It's all right. Please let me know how I may be of assistance to you.
We're looking for a man called Vache. He may have been an eyewitness in the serial disappearances case. If we can find him, we may be able to unearth some key information on the case.
Ah, I see. In that case, please wait here a moment while I browse through the files. Unfortunately, I'm quite certain that no one by the name of Vache has been involved in any case, criminal or civil, in the past several years. There are no records of him either in the files or in my memory.
So we're back to square one.
Is that so? All right then. Thank you so much, Monsieur Neuvillette. We'll take our leave now.
Miss Navia, I can understand how you feel. Your father, Callus, was a truly exceptional man. We deeply regret his passing.
And what are you trying to say, Monsieur Neuvillette? Are you trying to console me? Extend your sympathy? Or just express some tendril of regret? No. You are not trying to do any of that. I can hear it in your voice. There's no emotion behind your words. You only said those things because you felt like you should. It's just like last time. After my father took his place in the duelist ring, I pushed through the guards to talk to you as a last resort. You even told me then that you thought there was something fishy with the case, yet you still allowed the duel to go ahead. In your eyes, the value of a human life is nothing compared to those cold laws you hold so dear. If you truly regret my father's death, then why didn't you call a stop to the duel?
Oh God.
Why didn't you give me the power to stop him from throwing his life away? Why did you just let him die, despised and hated by all? Everything was hanging on a thread at that moment. Just the tiniest effort could have changed everything. There are still so many things I never got to tell him. So many questions he still owes me answers to. If you really have no heart, then just look me in the eyes. I, Navia, will show you the true meaning of regret.
Damn.
I'm sorry, Miss Navia.
You and my father are truly alike. You keep all kinds of things in your heart and never say a word to anyone.
I like Navia. She's so...
It's not so much that you can't feel, but that you would never express anything.
She's so real.
In any case, everyone already knows full well the apathy of the Chief Justice. My apologies for taking my emotions out on you, Monsieur Chief Justice. Let's go, Traveler and
They're
Paimon.
valid emotions.
Navia, are you okay?
I'm fine. Rain. It's raining.